What's going on, my City Unit Galaxy? It's the Central here, so back again with another episode of the MCU movie review series. So today I'm reviewing the second movie of Phase 2 of the MCU, that is Thor 2, aka Thor The Dark World. This movie was released in the autumn of 2013, the 22nd of October in the UK, the 8th of November in the USA. This movie wasn't terrible. We're not going to see a terrible movie of the MCU for a very long time, because MCU movies, they turn out to be good, great, or sometimes amazing movies. Sometimes thumbs in the middle movies, but never terrible. But at the same time, for this movie, it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't go, wow, I need to go back and watch this. No, it wasn't. This is a thumbs in the middle movie. I don't put it in a top. It's not really a top tier MCU movie. It's not on the same level as Infinity War, Endgames, the two Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok. The list goes on and on and on. It's not like a middle tier MCU movie. I really put this in the bottom half. This is a bottom half movie of the MCU. This is just a standard superhero movie. It's on the same level as the Incredible Hulk movie from 2008. Yeah, it's on. I put it on the level as, Incredible Hulk and also Iron Man 2. This is a sequel to Thor 1. I covered Thor 1 about 2 months ago, because I've been started doing these MCU movie review series since January. I think it was late January, early February since I reviewed Thor 1. My memory's a bit, ditchy. Anyway, so it is a sequel to Thor 1. And also, it's still the aftermath of Avengers 1. We got, the cast from Thor 1. We got, Chris Hemsworth as Thor. We got Natalie Portman as Jane Foster. We got Kat Dennings as Darcy Lewis. Stellan Skarsgård as Eric Selvig. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Anthony Hopkins as Odin. Renee Russo as Frigga. I'll get to her character a little bit later on. Kind of burped. Sorry. Anyway, we got Jamie Alexander as Sif. We got Idris Elba as Heimdall. We got Ray Stevenson as Fogstag. We got, I'm gonna butcher this dude's name, Tanabu Asano as Hogden. And in this movie, there's a recast. So in Thor 1, the actor that plays, Fandral, that is Josh Dallas. I'll get to him shortly. He's didn't want to be part of Thor 2, so we got replaced by Zachary Levi. He's the future actor to play Shazam, the DC movie from 2019. I think the reason why Josh Dallas doesn't want to be, Fandal, sorry. I think he was doing a TV show. He was part of the TV show called Once Upon a Time, so that could be the reason why he's not renounced his role as Fandral. Because it's a typical MCU thing, because throughout the years, you got actors who played in plays that character from the first movie did not come back for the sequel. Like Terrence Howard, he didn't came back as Rhodey in Iron Man 2 and the future sequels. He got replaced by Don Cheadle, that's Rhodey Rhodes. He's Iron Patriot, aka War Machine. Mark Ruffalo replace Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. I think Zachary Levi replace Josh Dallas as Fandral. Sorry, can't pronounce the dude's name probably well. Let's see his name. Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Johann Schmidt. It's a typical thing. I don't want to get in it that much. So Zachary Levi's character was okay. I'll get to a little bit of his character a little bit shortly, or later on in this review. Anyway, so I feel that that's mostly the characters from Thor 1. Also, we got new characters in the second movie. So the bad guy in this movie is Malekith. That was played by Christopher Eccleston. I'm a big fan of Chris Eccleston because my first exposure to Christopher Eccleston was Doctor Who way back in 2005, and then David Tennant. I don't like today's Doctor Who's. I started watching Doctor Who. I stopped watching it after David Tennant left the role. David Tennant also be part of the Marvel universe. You put in the network series. The Jessica Jones. You go and watch it. Yeah, he plays the villain in Jessica Jones. Kevin Kilgrave, the Purple Man in the comics. That's my first exposure. My two favorite Doctors has to be for me, Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant. Besides that, not a big fan of Matt Smith. Fuck Peter Capaldi because Peter Capaldi is now in the second Suicide Squad movie that's released of this year. And fuck Jodie Whittaker. Jodie Whittaker's fucking shit. I know I don't like him as an actress. She's a shit actress. That's my opinion. Not a good looking woman and a shit actress. That's me. Anyway, so he played Malekith. It's basically the Malekith character. In the first movie that was Laufey, but Laufey he was just there. He's not gonna be like the bad villain in Thor 1. That's going into that. It was Loki, but he was there. A Laufey character. Malekith. He was okay. He was good, but not saying too much. For me, the best out of the three Thor movies, the best villains out of the Thor trilogy, has to be Hela from Ragnarok. That's just me. Besides that, yeah, Hela's number one, alongside Loki, who's also a villain. Or Tweener, you put it in wrestling terms. Hela's number one. Malekith is number two, and then Laufey is number three. I'm gonna butcher this dude's name. Agawale Abajo. He plays Ulgrim, and Krosh. I think that's the character's name. Sorry, I butchered this dude's name. He plays Malekith's right hand man. He plays this big motherfucker. This creature. He's about tall. He ended up like killing characters in this movie. I know that character was CGI. They've been doing it for years now, Marvel movies, and over in like every movie, some movies, whether it's depending on what genre it's on, they always do CGI. I don't want to get into that shit, but was it Abawali, Abaji, whatever his name is? Sorry about his, I can't pronounce the dude's name. Yeah, he was there, because Malekith and Ulgrim, they're just basically generic bad guys in this movie. Like I said, it's just a standard superhero movie. Anyway, I'm talking about the new characters. We got Ian. Ian. We got Thomas Howard. He plays Ian. He plays Darcy's intern. The character was kind of meh, just meh. He's just he wasn't there. He didn't have a lot in this movie. There was one scene like the elves were going after Darcy. He basically Ian picked up a car and smashed it towards the elves, and then Darcy and Ian kiss. Then we're not going in that love triangle in this storyline. We already got one between Thor and Jane, but why would we do another one between Darcy and Ian? That's just me. And they're not a couple, because you never see that Ian character ever again. Because some of them came back later on in future installments and movies and television shows. Like, we got Thor and Jane and Darcy. Sadly, Darcy barely had any, scenes in this movie. Only once or twice, like in the third quarter of the movie, and then a little bit in the second quarter. First quarter, not so much. Disappointed. And really disappointed is Selvig. He came back, first movie since Avengers 1. He wasn't a fucking loony bin. I'm sorry, he wasn't a loony bin. I was laughing my ass off. There was one scene, he was at Stonehenge because the movie was in London, and because he was at Stonehenge, he was completely naked, lost his marbles, And I thought it was fat. I watched this way back in about 2019. It was on Christmas Day because it was that type of time period because of releasing movies on TV, old movies. I thought he was fat in that movie, but instead he wasn't ripped. Starring Skarsgård's character, he wasn't fat. Yeah, he was old, but he's not like fat. He wasn't fat. He was kind of like he had a bit. His body was okay. He was a bit athletic. He had a little bit of deltoids and abs, but yeah, I was laughing my ass off. That was kind of like funny. It was a bit of a comic relief thing. Yeah, because the reason why he's dead because he got brainwashed by Loki in Avengers 1. So I think that's it. And yeah, let's talk about this. Yeah, Thor's mother, Frigga. That's played by Renee Russo. She didn't do much in Thor 1. She didn't. I don't think she had any lines in Thor 1. But in Thor 2, she's been there for a bit. I don't know, man. She came back. I think she came back in Endgames. In a traveling sequence. With Thor. I think it was Thor. I think it was Thor and Rocket. They traveled to get the time. I think it was the Red Stone. I'll explain it when I review Endgames. But they kind of like never got a chance because you got Fat Thor seeing his mother because he knows that she gonna get killed off. Yeah, she got killed by Malekith and Algrim. That would make sense. Algrim getting killed was it was getting some heat. For Thor, his motivation going into this movie is kill Malekith because he killed his mother. And then, you got this scene with the funeral scene, with the lanterns up, I never knew the gods would die, this is planting the seeds of Thor grieving, because in Ragnarok, Odin died of probably old age, and then Loki died by Thanos, and then, like I said in one of my episodes of WandaVision, I said, there's two characters are grieving, that is Wanda and Thor. Thor is kind of got over it because he still got friends like, the Avengers and also some of the survivors he met on, the film in Ragnarok, Valkyrie, and, soon to be reunited with Jane Porter in Thor, was it Love and Thunder? I'll get to that. I'll explain more a little bit in this later on in this movie, and also when I review Ragnarok, I feel like it's going in that direction. And also, Frigga's character, she didn't really do much, and then I think she is a witch in this movie. There's one scene, they're going after Jane, he did a force field, and then, and Malekith shouted witch. I'm guessing, she's a witch, she's got powers of Loki. I'm guessing she's Loki's mother. I know, Loki's not from Asgard. He's from Jotunheim, because in the flashback sequence from the first movie, Odin found Loki as a baby. He could leave you there. Because there's one scene you could tell this scene's going after. This is after the Avengers. There's one scene Loki's in trial because he's paying for his crimes because he's trying to rule Earth in the first movie. So Odin said about you won't be here if I won't find you. It's kind of true because I don't know. I think he's half frost giant and half human. Maybe. Here's my theory. Don't get me wrong. I'm guessing Thor's mother Frigga made a love towards one of the child of the. I think it's Laufey. Maybe had sex with Laufey before he met Odin, and maybe that could be the reason why. They got the powers. They're both magicians. I know they're gods, but they got that powers to do magic. That's supposed to be gods do magic. Anyway, so yeah, Tom Hiddleston's role in this movie is kind of degraded after Thor 1. He did alright in Thor 1 because he was kind of in that in wrestling term I call him a tweener. Because he was kind of like a babyface in the first and second quarter of Thor 1. And then when you get to the third quarter, he's a villain. And then he was the villain for the bulk of Avengers 1. In this movie, he was kind of tweener. Hero, then villain, then hero again. It's just what it is. I think I give Tom Hiddleston credit because he made that character work. Because throughout the whole bulks of the first act of the movie, he was in the prison cell, and then in the second, third act, he's helping Thor, stopping Malekith. They go to Svartalfheim. It's kind of funny in this movie. There's one funny bit for me. He's struggling to how to fly a spaceship, trying to go to Svartalfheim, and Loki's doing commentating like, "Oh, they're following us, they're shooting at us," and Thor says, "We don't need commentary," and then he accidentally one of the wings kind of hit the statue of his grandfather. It's like, great, you decapitate your own granddad or grandfather. I was laughing my head off, and when he threw him out of the plane, Thor had that smirk. That was funny. I really like the Loki character. Everything he does, he could do something. He could do both. Like, he could be a comedy villain, and sometimes he can do the serious stuff as well. It's like having your cake and eating it too. I like that. Yeah. So. Yeah, Jane's character was disappointed in the first one. She didn't really do much. I think that's the reason why Natalie Portman didn't came back until Thor 4. That'll be in next year. There's major rumors like she was frustrated about the character, or maybe the character didn't really have haven't got a story left after Thor 2. Because in Ragnarok, Thor, they kind of like, I think they were going in that direction, like, maybe Thor's going to have developing this relationship with Jane Foster, maybe becoming his girlfriend, and funny part that in Ragnarok, I think he said to Loki that they left on solid terms, like, "Oh, I didn't break her, she didn't break up with me, I break up with her," I'll get to Ragnarok, after I finish all the movies from Phase 2. Yeah, she never came back, I think the reason why, she was just a fetus of I think it's called the Ether, whatever it is. Basically, I looked it up, it's basically the red Infinity Stone, and in the post-credit scene, in the end, that you've got Fogstag, Sif, maybe Fandral, and Hogan. They go to the Collector, got the red stone, and this is planting the seeds for Guardians of the Galaxy. The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and they set up the Infinity Stones, set up future movies in the next 5 years, the Infinity Saga with Thanos and the Infinity Stones. Because I think Captain America, it was Captain America. Yeah, Captain America is really planting the seeds of Infinity Stones. Because you got the blue one is the Tesseract, that is the Soul Stone. Or the Soul Stone, I think it's the Power Stone is the, I don't know, I think it was the Power Stone, I don't know which one. I think the Mind Stone is the Yellow Stone. I think you got Reality Stone, Mind Stone, Soul Stone, Power Stone, Time Stone. So there's 6 stones. Yeah, the Collector says, 1 down, 5 to go. Wait a minute, you got the Tesseract. The Tesseract's that was the Infinity Stone as well. It's setting up future movies. Anyway, let's get back to this movie. No, it's nothing else to talk about. It's not like Guardians of the Galaxy, or even Black Panther, or even Spider-Man, or the 2 Spider-Man movies. It's just like I said, just a standard superhero movie. Yeah, she was just a fetus. There's one scene, Darcy and Jane went to this factory and meet those kids. Yeah, one funny part of scene, one line for Darcy said, "We're okay, we're American." And then they were dropping things down the ledge, and they find out it's a force of gravity. They end up dropping downwards and going back up again. And sometimes, I think one for a Finto can, it never came back, and then Ian thrown the car keys, and they find out it'll end up in Solvenheim. Anyway, Odin's character was more of a dick in this episode. I almost say episode, but dick in this movie, because he doesn't like Jane, because Jane is mortal. She come from planet Earth. She's not an Asgardian. And also, this is really bugs me. In Avengers 1 and this movie, after Thor broke the gateway between Earth and Asgard, how the hell he go back to planet Earth in Avengers 1? And also in this movie, when Thor returned to Earth, you had Jane smacking basically Thor in the face. Before that, Jane went to basically into a different. She traveled into that portal into another world. That's likely to be Sofenheim, wherever the planet is. She saw the ether. It's basically you got A and E in it. It's very hard to pronounce it. It's funny part like basically Darcy called Thor's hammer Mimi. It's Mundia. It's a Mundia. That's the name of Thor's hammer. Can't pronounce it as well. There's one in the interviews, like people, like actors in the Marvel movies cannot pronounce Thor's hammer. It's very hard to pronounce. Unless you're from Scandinavia, you probably pronounce it very well. But if not, it's like Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, she got a sword. The ether kind of absorbed into Jane's arm. She's kind of like dying in this, and also in comics that she had cancer in the comics. That like she could be. There's rumors like Jane Foster could be the female Thor. I'm guessing that will be in Love and Thunder. That every time she's called Thor, that will eliminate her chemo. I think she's gonna. The rumors like she's gonna die in Thor 4. I don't know. That's my prediction. So she got the that's really her story into this movie for Jane Foster is she is the vessel of the ether or ether. Anyway. So yeah. Basically had Jane smacking Thor in the face, saying like, "Why you think it's real?" And then she says, "Why do you call me? She said like, I saw you in New York." And also, saw you in New York. Anyway, like I said, it really bugs me in Avengers 1. Like, Thor just basically, after break the gateway between Asgard and Earth in Thor 1, came back in Avengers 1. And also, they didn't explain that. And also in Avengers 1, they explain. I think there's a news report that Jane Foster is moved, or something about. They didn't bring up witness protection. It's kind of like in that, it looked like she's under witness protection program, or moved away or something. And they didn't really explain that well. So what's the real point? Saying, "Oh, I saw pictures of you in New York." What's the fucking point? What the fucking point is that? Oh, something like, "Oh, Jane Foster's been moved," and all of a sudden, "Oh, I know you in New York. I saw you pictures in New York." What the fuck? It didn't explain that well. For me, I think the character did disservice, man. And by the way, the director for this movie, for Thor 2, because the first movie was directed by Kenneth Branagh. This movie was directed by Alan Taylor. I don't know Alan Taylor's character. I think, not Alan Taylor's character, but Alan Taylor, the director. I don't know much about him. I think some of these directors, they're better off doing TV shows than movies. I think they got it, one actor kind of, not one actor, but one director got the character and the movie right in Thor 3 was Brian Gunn. Brian Gunn also directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. 1 and 2, I think he got fired, and then right now he's doing directing the second Suicide Squad movie in the DCEU, the DC extended universe. I don't want to get to James Gunn. I'll talk about James Gunn in the near future. It's very funny that like every movies in the MCU, they had different directors. They're not directing the same movie. Like in Iron Man was directed by Jon Favreau, and then in the third movie I just covered last week, it was directed by Shane Black. In this movie, Thor, in the first movie it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, and then this movie was directed by Alan Taylor, and the third movie was directed by James Gunn. I don't know who directed the Captain America movies. I don't want to guess to guess. It's just what it is. So what's his name? Selvig. Sorry, I kind of stumbled a little bit. Going to blank a bit. Anyway, Selvig's character, like I said, he didn't really do much in this movie. There was one cameo scene of Stan Lee. They're in the mental ward. This is all about the nine realms aligning, and he's talking about it in the mental ward, and then he said, "Any questions?" And you got Stanley says, "Can I have my shoes back?" I would laugh my ass off. And also, when there was scene like Loki died, let's talk about the betrayal. The betrayal of Loki, he doesn't really do that on purpose. He's not gonna be like, oh, he's a full baddie, In wrestling, if like I said, in wrestling terms, I call him a tweener. It's between a face and heel. He always does that, like to becoming the good side. He's part of the good team, and then also then he double crossed and joined the dark side. He's become a villain, and then he become like a hero again. I think he's kind of like an anti-hero. There's one scene they're in Svartenheim, stabbed Thor in the probably in the chest because he's not even dead. He's a fucking god. He stabbed him with the dagger, and also he cuts his arm off. He cut his fucking not arm off. He cut his hand off with the dagger. And then all of a sudden, when like they double cross Malekith because you got Jane Foster in the with the ether in his soul, and then he was fighting this big monster, the Algrim, that big monster dude. He fought like Loki killed that creature, but instead that creature killed Loki. He always does that. He always does that. Oh, he always he gets killed off, makes the sacrifice. Always come back. He like in the first movie, he sacrificed himself. He basically fell off into space. I think he got captured by the Chitauri. Yeah, the Dark Elves in this movie, they were more like second tier of Chitauri. It's similar to the Chitauri from Avengers 1. Nothing special, nothing different about the Dark Elves, man. Or maybe like half Chitauri, half Frost Giants. It's just what it is. What's the point? Truly, what's really the point? And also, yeah, in the end, when basically Thor declined, he's gonna be because in the story in this, Odin wants Thor to be king. Thor really declined to become king of Asgard, and he said thank you, and then basically you had Loki disguise himself as impersonating Odin, no thank you back, and you can tell that he's alive. They're doing I think they're doing a Loki movie or a Loki TV show. It'll be on the Disney Plus app. I can't wait. Because he's not gonna come back to the present day Loki because he got killed. He got killed by Thanos. It's very funny. He fell into space after in Thor 1. He basically got stabbed through the chest, fatal wounded in Thor 2, came back, and then he got his neck snapped by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. He came back in the time sequence when I think it was in that time Cap and Steve going into New York City in the same timeline as 2012 in the first Avengers movie to get the Tesseract. I think he took the Tesseract in that scene. Like I said, I'll get to Endgame, so they'll always find that character. He never dies, proper die. I think in the Loki one, I think in the Loki TV show or movie, I think it's going to be in the past. It's not going to be like he's not going to be bring back to life, or maybe he could bring back to life. I think he's a god of mystery, the tricker god. He might not die. I don't know. Don't want to get into it. So yeah, and also the funny part, like when they're in the flat. And you get Selvig, I think something about asking Thor. It says, where's Thor? Not ask Thor, sorry. Selvig asks Thor, where's Loki? And Thor says, he's dead. And Selvig says, thank God for that. And also, it's funny in that, and he said, like, I'm so sorry. Because he doesn't have remorse of Loki, because Loki mind-controlled Selvig in Avengers 1, that's why he was in the loony bin. He was running around Stone Age completely naked. That's the reason. Yeah, the battle scenes, but before that, there were some cameos in this movie. Cameos. You got Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, you got Stan Lee, typical Stan Lee, always appeared in cameos. He appeared a little bit in the Teen Titans Go movie in 2018 because it was the DC movie. That's one of his final movies before his death. But you got Chris O'Donnell. Not Chris O'Donnell, but Chris O'Down, sorry. Chris O'Down. He plays Richard He's basically Jane's new boyfriend because Jane thought that after Thor won, she was waiting for Thor if she come back when Thor broke the gateway between Asgard and Earth. She kind of like moved on. It's a funny part with Darcy. She springs up like she's crying, eating ice cream, but I think Jane knew that Thor is still alive and trying to find a way if he's come back to Earth, find a way to get back to Earth. I'm guessing like the gateway between Earth and Asgard is now fixed. So so it's just cameo of Chris O'Donnell, Chris O'Down. Sorry, Jesus Christ, Chris O'Donnell. In that scene in the restaurant, we had a cameo of Chris Evans as Captain America. Not the real Captain America. It was basically low-key disguised, impersonate Captain America with a swagger. Said about like, are we talking about truth, justice, patriotism? He almost say God bless America because Captain America, he's not Batman. He is serious, but he's not like Batman serious. He's basically, I think he's the Superman of the MCU. He's truth, justice, and American way. You see, basically, Chris Evans, with a little swagger, Captain America with a swagger, being like goofy and funny. That was funny. Yeah, it was the second place has to be when Cap says Hell Hydra in the Endgame sequence when they travel back through time. That was funny. Clive Russell, because Clive Russell played in Game of Thrones. He played Tyre. I don't see him in this movie. I found it on Wikipedia to give me more information. You got like Odin. What's his name? Tommy Durham. I can't pronounce that name. He's basically played Odin's dad. I can't remember the actor's name in it. I think that's it. Royce Pearson. Royce Pearson was in this movie. He will later on become part of the Netflix show The Witcher. I don't know his character from The Witcher. There's one scene. They're in the library, and Jane shouts everyone out, and then Royce Pearson's character says, "No way, Thor's out there. He's got his hammer." And also, he ended up doing a TV movie called Murdered by My Boyfriend, starring also with Georgina Campbell. It's all about like domestic abuse. I want to review that movie one day in the future. So anyway, but that's it. I think I covered most of it. Yeah, I don't really talk about the plot. Yeah, the fight scene between Thor and Malekith, it was meh. Like I said, it's just a standard superhero movie. It's not terrible. It's like or hate, but it's it's a thumbs of the middle movie for what it is. It's just thumbs of the middle. Nothing fantastic. Wasn't terrible or cringeworthy. Like I said, we're not gonna see a terrible Marvel movie or Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. The only bad movie, the one bad Marvel movie has to be Dark Phoenix. That was the movie outside the MCU. That's part of Fox. It's just like the fight scene was okay. Like Malekith, I think with Christopher Eccleston and most of the other characters on the show, really the actors they cannot really do anything in this movie. It's just a wonky script, very wonky. If they just like tighten up the script up, if they just fix things up, tighten up, sort things out, maybe it could turn out to be a good movie. One of the top three, probably in like I don't say the best movie out of the MCU, probably in the middle of the MCU. Because like Jane couldn't, Natalie Portman, Jane Foster couldn't do anything in this movie because she is a vessel of the Aether. Or Aether. You got Darcy in this. They're trying to go with a love interest storyline with her and Ian. That went nowhere because as for some of the characters you never gonna see ever again. Because Selvig you never seen ever again. I think he might come back probably. I think he like cameos of movies or maybe in a TV show. But you never see him ever again. I think Stellan Skarsgård is very busy. He does a lot also foreign movies instead of English movies. From his native Sweden. That could be the reason. You won't see Jane Foster ever again. There was one scene in another post-credit scene because the first one's all about the Collector and the Red Infinity Stone. That is the Reality Stone. It's planting the seeds of future movies of the MCU, including Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And also, we got one scene like Thor came back and made makeup and really kissing Jane. They kissed at Asgard in this movie, and then they kissed in the post-credit scene in London, and then all of a sudden, Ragnarok, left on, leave on neutral respects, and I didn't break up with her. She broke up. No, I didn't break up with her. I think, like I said, I think Thor said in Ragnarok, like, she didn't break up with me, I broke up with her. I think like in Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, she said, like, I think Thor said about she was in the jungle. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that when we get to Avengers 2, but, yeah, you won't see, Natalie Portman as Jane Foster until Thor 4, Love and Thunder. That'll be in 2022. You won't see Darcy again until WandaVision of this year. They're about 8 years into the future. Because, by the way, they just wrapped up. They did their final episode of Series 1. Because this week I'm reviewing episode 8. That's the second to last episode of the season. Yeah, next week ended that series, and then moving on to reviewing Clash of the Champions shows on this channel. Anyway. So, yeah, you won't see characters again in future movies, some ever again. I think it could have to do with, I think they got nothing left, Darcy, let me see Darcy appeared. What's it, I don't think she will fit in Ragnarok. How's she going to fit in Ragnarok? She'll probably be lost in the shovel, not really a important character. Like, Frigga was not really a important character. Some of these characters, like Ian, they're not really important characters. Darcy felt like he was in the sidelines, like an intern with an intern. People find it good, but it's like meh, just meh, because you never seen Ian ever again. Selvig the same. Yeah. I think that's it. I think I'm gonna end it, man. So I think that's really it. The plot, it's fine. Could be a lot better, but. I'm gonna rate this movie. I'll give it 3.5 stars. It's a bit passable, not too much. If I rate this in the 3 Thor movies, Ragnarok is number 1. Thor 1 will be in the middle. Yeah, last place has to be Dark World. Could be a lot better. You don't know in movies if it's gonna be a bust or great. I don't know. I don't want to research that. Alan Taylor. We're later on to do the 5th Terminator movie, and that was not that good, I don't know, I think he's better off doing TV shows than movie, I think like Thor 2 is way better than Terminator 5, give me a break. Terminator 5 was fucking shit, because with, Arnold, they basically changed up Arnold's character, he's ditched the, all black, wearing the sunglasses. He's wearing like green. His hair was grey. He's wearing a green jacket. I think it's a nod to the first movie. I'll review it in the near future. I did a mini review of was it Dark Fate? That's the latest Terminator movie, Terminator 6. I'll probably review Terminator movies in the near future because this year marks the 30th anniversary of Terminator 2: Judgment Day. So. For this movie, I think it's leading up to a future installment, but unfortunately that's not really the case. When Brian Gunn took over, tying up the loose ends, you can tell it's going into that Infinity War era with Ragnarok and then moving on to Infinity War. This was just not leading up to anything. I mean, after that, I think that the trilogy kind of hit a roadblock. If basically with in Iron Man 3, there was no setting up a third movie because, Tony stopped being Iron Man, but he came back as Age of Ultron. So, you don't know if it's going to lead up to something, unfortunately. If it's, because with Captain America 2, the next movie I'm going to talk about, that's setting up Civil War. So, it leading up to a third movie. I think it's at the time, maybe they just don't run out of ideas for a third movie. We're glad we got a third movie, Ragnarok. It's turned out to be one of the top 5 best movies of the MCU. So, yeah, I'm going to end it. Hope you enjoy my review of Thor 2, Thor The Dark World. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash the like button, and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Next week, I'm reviewing one of the best movies of Phase 2 of the MCU. That is Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. Yeah, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash the like button, click the notification bell every time. If you subscribe to the channel, you get like an update when my new videos pop up. Yeah, and subscribe to the channel for more wrestling videos, Marvel videos, you know, reviewing WandaVision, and also my reviews of the MCU movies, game streams, and more. And this is the Sentiment officially signing out. Check you later, and that's my review of Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, this is a movie. If you got this on the Disney Plus app, watch this on the Disney Plus app. Yeah, this is more like a skip movie. You know, it's not like a movie you go, wow, I need to watch it a time and a time again. No.